Hello, in my part I will speak about Roman culture and lifestyle during Roman Empire and Pax Romana. During the era of Roman Empire, not only was rebellion uncommon, but it was also difficult to find explicit expressions of discontent with Rome's authority. The rage of the nation was mainly directed towards communities that were unable to self-regulate and who did not make full use of the imperial power's freedom. Neither man attempted to mobilize opposition to Rome, yet bad governors and emperors were chastised, but mainly after their deaths. Traditional culture was not a rejection of imperial control, whether it was rabbis seeking to make sense of their religion after the destruction of the temple, or Greeks reveling in writing about the glories of their pre-Roman past. The fact of Roman supremacy was recognized, but not because the empire ruled with such a light touch and through such a small body of administrators that it rarely entered people's minds, much less their lives. The provinces were completely oblivious of Roman control. Much of the day-to-day administration was left to the local communities, but everyone recognized that the governor had more power than the highest local magistrate or council, that allied kings governed only with Rome's sanction, and that the emperor ruled over governors, monarchs, and everyone else. All gold and silver coinage, as well as most bronze currency, went to the emperor, and his head or other picture was on all of it. Hard currency was used even in the most isolated rural locations, not least because some taxes were paid in cash rather in kind. Although these taxes were paid to the Roman state rather than the emperor, the small distinctions meant little to the people who were forced to pay them. Regardless of their riches or military importance, most emperors rarely visited the provinces, especially the more remote ones. Only Augustus and Vespasian visited Syria, while emperors in the 1st century AD, and in the case of the latter, did not. As a result, only a select few had the opportunity to meet the emperor in person, as only the wealthy could afford to travel to Italy and hope to be welcomed. Even though the rulers were distant figures, their names and images were all over the place. Aside from coinage, there were road markers, inscriptions on nearly every public structure, from bathhouses to bridges and aqueducts, and statues, bustos, sculptures, paintings. The Romans were at ease with the city as an institution, a central location with magistrates and other administrative machinery to oversee the surrounding lands. Where such communities did not already exist, they were encouraged to emerge or formed. There were many towns or oppida in Gaul during Julius Caesar's time, most of which were built on hills and fortified by walls. These communities were abandoned under Augustus and his successors in favor of new Roman-style towns and cities established on the plains. The majority of the buildings, including the important forum and basilicas for public businesses, were made of wood at first. Apart from taxes, there were additional changes to economic life as a result of the emperor's control over so much of the world. This meant that affluent men felt far more certain in their right to property than they did when the world was divided into so many different hostile states. Many people purchased estates in the provinces, believing that land was not only an honorable investment, but also one that would not sink like a trading vessel and would provide a long-term profit. The imperial climate favored not only Roman people, particularly the wealthy senators and equestrians, but also provincials. In conclusion, this is the brief description of the Roman lifestyle during the period of Roman Empire and Pax Romana. This is also the end of our presentation. Thank you for your time and of course for your attention.